In this video, I'm going to give you an introduction to the contacts file in ArtBase. Okay, so here's a sample record in my contacts file. You'll see that in large letters at the top of the screen, it shows you the company name and the person's name. You'll also see that there's a taskbar at the top of the screen. You'll see in here that you can search in our Quick Find feature, which allows you to just start typing information and it immediately finds records that have the word Tanya in them. So you'll see on the left-hand side here, this is how many are in what we call our found set. And in the found set, you can flip from record to record. You can also flip to the very end of the found set or the very beginning of it. You can see that this is the total number of records in your entire contacts file. And anytime you want, you can get back out of your found set and back into total records by clicking here. You can also get out of your search by hitting the X. You've got a button for creating a new record here. You can also find existing records by using this feature. So the Quick Find feature, remember, searches in all the fields in your contacts file. So be careful because it also searches in the notes field. If you want to get a more exact search, you would use the Find feature, and you can run the training video on searching or finding to learn more about that. The Omit button allows you to pull a record out of your current found set. So if you're flipping through and you decide you don't want this person in your group, you can hit Omit and it will pull them out. So now I have 20 records in my found set instead of 21. Okay, so you have all of the basic contact fields here. This is a drop-down menu which you can choose from. And anytime we give you a drop-down menu, you can always click in to change it and type anything that you want to. In a drop-down field, you can always edit it as well. So if you wanted to change the list for good, you can hit Edit, and now here's your list, and you can edit it however you like. Okay, first name, last name, title, company, address, and then we also have a nice feature which allows you to enter a zip code and it automatically pops in a city and state for you. You have country, so you'll notice that if you enter a country, it automatically populates this field here, and the field is mostly for postage, so it will automatically generate like Europe, Asia, foreign, domestic, that kind of thing, so it's easy for designating what cost of postage it is. And it'll change based on what you've entered there. Okay, so you can store multiple addresses for each contact, and you can do that in the Addresses tab. In here you'll see there are unlimited addresses, and this is a scrolling area. There will always be a blank one at the bottom. To add a new address, you just click into here and you type information. So once again, remember what I said about entering the zip code. If you enter it, it will populate the city and state for you. You can also, in here, use the Delete button. This is a little trash can. This will allow you to delete that crummy address I just made. Also in here, you can designate which address is the primary address, so which address appears in this area. In Addresses, you've got the little checkbox, and you can just hit the check mark, and it will change the address here. To edit this address, come in here and just hit the Edit button. Salutation is what appears on letters, emails, and faxes automatically when you generate them to this person. Okay, and the other tab over here allows you to enter up to 5 different custom fields in your contacts file. The custom fields can be named anything you want them to be in the settings file. And of course, you can enter any information you want in here. Another nice feature is this Other Contacts at this company, and this allows you to see anybody else in your contacts file that has the same company name as this person. So for example, let's just say you have like 20 different records of people at the Guggenheim Museum. You might go to one of their records and then come into Other to see who else you've got at that company. Okay, coming back up to the top here, you'll see that you have a little printer icon. You can print all of this information out by hitting the print button. You can also use this little toggle to what we call the table view, which is essentially a list view of your contact information. And you have the same toggle view right here to take you right back to the form view. Okay, so coming down the row here, you have unlimited email addresses, web addresses, phone numbers, pretty much anything you want to put in here. And there is always a blank one at the bottom, and you can just start typing. And then you can choose over here what kind of address or phone number that is. Okay, you can also delete phone numbers here. You can, on the left-hand side, you'll see a little icon. If you wanted to go to their website, if you click that icon, it will open their website in a browser. Let's say you want to change the order of these. You want their business phone number at the top. You can use these little arrows to just move it up the row or move it down. On the right-hand side, you'll see you have a picture of the person. You also have a designator for whether they are a person or a company. So that's important when designating who is your client. Is your client the company or the person? So for example, you may be dealing with ArtBase, the company, or maybe Tanya Van Sant is actually your client, and this is just her mailing address is her company name. So in that case, if you switch it to person, you'll see at the top, Tanya Van Sant moves to the front. And also, that's important when it shows when you've sold things to her and stuff like that, you'll actually see her name as the client, not as ArtBase. Okay, in the picture, you can click on it to see a larger version of that picture. You can change the picture by hitting the plus symbol. You can delete it by hitting the little X at the bottom. There's also a mailing list and emailing list designator. So that allows you to designate whether she's going to get paper mailings or just emailings or both. This area is for types. That's essentially what kind of client she is. If you click on this button here, it will give you a list. Now these are editable by you in the settings file. So you'll go into the settings file in your first couple days and you'll designate all of your different types, and you can check off as many of these as you want for her. And they show back here. This little area here is kind of like a subgenre. It's a way to designate a second type. And again, this is searchable and editable, so you can put anything you want in this group. This is just a suggestion of how you might use this field. Okay, going down the row of tabs here, a lot of information about this person is in these tabs. For starters, we have the notes field here. We have what this person is interested in. And the interest is essentially all of the artists that they like, or maybe the genres of art that they're interested in. You'll see that there is this little arrow here. The little arrow, anytime you see that throughout the program, is to insert information from an index. So what that means is, let's just say, instead of having to type the artist's name over and over again, you can click on this little arrow and it will give you a list of all your possibilities. If you hit this Show Individual Words, it will show you all the individual words for everything that has been entered at all into your contacts file. So you can then come in and you can decide, click on one of them and it will essentially paste it into your field. And that way you don't have to type over and over again, and you can also make sure that people are not spelling names wrong. Okay, the preview button, or the preview field I should say, is a way for you to copy and paste all of this information into another program. This will show you when the record was created, who it was created by, when it was modified, and who modified the record. Going down the row here, you have more information about this person. For example, every activity that has been done to this person in ArtBase is going to be listed here. That includes every letter, fax, consignment, shipping form, email offer with images attached. Any type of form that has been generated to this person is going to be listed in here automatically. You don't have to type in this area. It just automatically fills it out when you create these things in ArtBase. You can go back to any one of these things just by clicking the dot next to it. It will open it up for you. And then you can close it out. Other things you can do in this area is you can hover your mouse over any of these areas to see the text of a letter or of an email. And that's just kind of a quick way to see what was said in that letter or that email. You can generate a letter, a fax, or an email just by clicking these buttons here. Keep in mind that you also, at the top of your screen, always have these two main menus at the top. The ArtBase menu takes you to different files within the program: Contacts, Inventory, Artists, Library, Forms, and Lists. And the Contacts menu does different functions within the file that you're in. So this is how you're going to create your letters and your emails and things like that. But like I said, you can do that just by clicking the buttons at the bottom if you need to. In the Inventory tab, you'll see a list of all of the artworks that have been invoiced or sold to this person. You'll also see any artworks that were received from this person. And once again, you can always click the blue dot next to it to go back to any of these artworks. You can see the things that were at this location listed in here. Things that this person has sold as a consultant will be listed in here. And this area allows you to enter any other collection, and this is editable. So you can come in here, you can type any information that you want in here about something in their collection. It will pop in the date, and then you can put an approximate value in there. This is essentially the only tab in this area that is editable. Everything else is automatic. So if you put this person in the location of one of your inventory items, it's just going to automatically pop up in here. You don't have to worry about it. Received from, same thing in the inventory under financials. If they are designated as the source of a piece, it automatically appears in their list received from. In invoice to, same thing. If you create an invoice for this person or you sell them any artwork, it's automatically going to show this information in here. Forms. So forms are essentially any kind of consignment form, shipping form, loan form, consignment in or out, and you'll see on the right-hand side what type of form it was that you sent to them. And this is the artwork information. You can click in to see more information. You'll see an inventory number, form number, date, and you can always click on the blue dot next to it to go back to the form or to the inventory. Offers and reserves. So anything that you have offered this person for sale is going to be listed in this area, along with the offer price that you sent it to, and reserves. So anything that this person has put on reserve in your inventory will be listed in here. Source and request is an area where you can record things that people have requested from you, or they have offered to you, but they are not in your inventory. So this is kind of an open area where you can come in here and say, okay, this person has requested something of me. It's now active. They're looking for a Picasso bust de femme, and you can just record that information in there. It will pop to the top when you're done. You can go to the source and request file by clicking the blue dot next to it. And finally, saved sets. So let's talk a little bit about saved sets. Once you do a find, for example, if I click find and I search on people on my mailing list that are, for example, in New York. When I hit enter on my keyboard, it does that search for me and I get a group together. Maybe at this point, I decide that I want to handpick some people to invite to a special dinner that I'm having. So I can use my flagging system to select some people out of that group. Once I've selected people, I can hit the Find Flag button, and it will just give me that group together. Then I can come back to my contacts file, and I can go to my Saved Sets area, and I can save that group with a name so that I can pull them up again and again. So if I choose Save Found Set, it always walks me through anytime I'm doing a process so I don't get lost. And then I say, yes, I want to make a new one. At this point, it's going to allow me to save this set with a name. So I can call it Tanya's Dinner, I can see who was in it, I can put some notes in there, and I can also choose a type. So maybe this is an event, an invitation, something like that. When I come back, you'll see that all of the people in this group have now been designated with the name Tanya's Dinner. I can go back to this group anytime I want to by clicking the blue dot next to it. And now I can see that group again in my table view. Okay, so let's have a look at the table view a little bit. In the table view, let's get into more records. Once again, you can use your quick find in this area. You can also sort alphabetically by clicking on one of these headers at the top. Certain things allow you to see a subtotal of how many people are in that city, for example. Okay, so that is contacts in the ArtBase program, and you can move on to the inventory file.